everybody, Professor King here. Today we're going to be talking about Robert Putnam's chapter entitled Reciprocity, Honesty, and Trust from the book Bowling Alone. So I'm going to bring it to the share screen in just a moment. These notes are pretty self-explanatory, but they do require a little bit of thinking and note-taking on your part. So hopefully they'll serve as ways to guide you through the reading. This is a sociological text that was published a few years ago. And it has like a lot of cool, helpful charts and everything, but some of it may be a little challenging in terms of the vocabulary and the verbiage. So let me take it to the share screen now, and then we can talk about these ideas that Putnam shares, which hopefully you think are pretty cool. I like this reading. I mean, I'll save my personal opinions for everything. Okay, so we're on the share screen. Let me move this, and then all right. So Bowling Alone is technically the title of the book. This chapter is called Reciprocity, Honesty, and Trust. So in this chapter, you should be able to define the following terms in your own words. So as you're reading and actively taking notes and highlighting, etc., make sure you know what these words mean. I'm not collecting anything. This is not part of your discussion board, but you need to have a working understanding of what these terms mean in order to understand the argument that's being set forth. And those terms are civic vitality or civic involvement. They're essentially like two sides of the same coin. Physical capital, human capital, social capital, and social capital theory by extension. Generalized reciprocity, specific reciprocity, and bridging and bonding social capital. Okay, so you may want to pause here, look back over what you read, make sure you highlighted all those terms. If you haven't, do so now. And then again, do the boxing, defining, and then rereading in context, because that's going to help you. What you find in terms of, Google or stuff online may not totally be exactly the same as what Putnam means, because these are specific terms that he utilizes. But it'll still help to sort of contextualize some of the meaning of this reading. So also in your notes, you want to make sure to be able to answer the following. You want to make note of how Putnam structures and organizes the argument in this chapter. Okay, one thing we're learning about this week, such as in chapter 7, right, is how arguments are structured, right? Classic model, classic oratory model, the sort of call and response or conversational model of invitational arguments, the counterpoint point model of Rogerian, or the sort of more complex model of the Toulmin model. So why do you think Putnam sets the argument up in the way that he does? Also, make sure you can think about 3 ways that Putnam employs appeals to logos in this chapter, and try to get out of just saying he uses this type of evidence or he uses this type of data. Remember, logos is more than just that. It's also showing the logical thought processes of our minds, right? Things like syllogism and enthymeme, showing all of those steps in our analysis so that it's clear to our reader, to our audience, what's going on and why it's important. Think about the counter arguments that he acknowledges. Again, we're going from that 100 model of just supporting our own arguments to now anticipating naysayers who will disagree with us. He does that very thing in this chapter, right? Make sure that you can check that. In terms of evidence in the 2-source rule, how does he address his skeptics, right? And then finally be able to summarize the concluding paragraphs in your own words. Don't just cut and paste and say this is what the summary is, but be able to put them in your own words. So again, I said this Putnam was pretty short. You can pause it where you need to and take notes. But if you have questions, always feel free to message me. If you need clarification on certain ideas, make sure you message me. Otherwise, you're going to see, you're going to be able to develop these ideas in much more depth on the discussion board. So good luck, and I will see you all in cyberspace soon. All right, bye.